Hi, welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and I thought about the fact that we are headed back into school. And for some parents, that might be a whole new way of life if you are just finding out that your child is on the spectrum, and then what will that landscape look like for you after they age out of early intervention. So I wanted to let you know that I've already interviewed schools and teachers. I've also interviewed advocates that you might need to bring with you on your child's first IEP. You won't be bringing your child to that, but you definitely want to keep your rights protected and their rights protected. And that's why I discussed with Marsha Lindner in length about why you need to use her or people like her that offer advocacy resources to you. So as we go back to school, for people who are already living life with the spectrum, then you pretty much know routine is key, not just with neurotypical kids, but definitely with our special kiddos. And then also if you are just trying to start navigating the school world, what that can look like. And your first IEP meetings may be brutal. That's why I suggest bringing an advocate. It's money well worth spent for you and for your child. But you know what? School is wonderful, and you're really going to see the splinter skills come out. And your teachers might talk to you about your child's splinter skills. They might be terrific at math, but not so much reading and writing. I know that my son still does not like to write, still doesn't like to read, and yet he's a pretty good reader. But that comprehension piece has always been a struggle with him. And that's because our kiddos' brains, they work differently. They're moving a mile a minute, literally, just sometimes can't focus. And then that brings in another big, kind of a tricky topic to discuss with you. When is the time to put your child on medication? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was the type of girl back in my 20s, late teens, early 20s. I would look at parents, I'd be like, why is your kid on medication? Like, can't you deal without medication? But I'm gonna tell you something. Medication is there for a reason. And it helps our kids in many opportunities focus, whether they have symptoms of ADHD that come along with their diagnosis of autism, or ADD. Maybe they have oppositional defiance disorder. Maybe they have all of these different things. Medication helps. And I don't want you to think like you're making your kid into somebody who they're not. It actually brings out the best version of them. Now, I'm just saying this for my family. I can't speak for yours. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert, but I do live life with the spectrum. And I was very, 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 very hesitant to put my child on medication. Like, I literally wanted to try every opportunity. Like, we're going to eat for autism. We're going to do this for autism. We're going to do this. And then I was like, you know what? He actually needs a little bit of help. Whether it's Focalin, Guafacine, which I like to call my wraparound pill, you will need to go to a psychiatrist to get those medications. But again, at school, where you have a million different stimuli coming at you, kids tend to revert and go in a completely different direction because they can't handle it. And sometimes medication can certainly help them. So if you're just starting your journey with life with the spectrum, you may want to look into that. If your kid's, 5 years old or so, if you are like Gina, medication is not the way, I'm going to try everything holistically and do it whatever, then that's on you. That's fine. I'm not encouraging you. I'm just letting you know that I was that person that used to be like, no way. And now I'm like, it saves my son every day he goes to school. He's able to focus and get in the zone. And then that Guafacine or intuitive, whatever you want to call it, kind of wraps it around so that he doesn't have that hard crash off that medication. So it might be something for you to look into for your child. If you have older children making their transitions into colleges or vocational academies, this is a great opportunity to get them behind the wheel, believe it or not. And there's great driving schools out there that are kind of special needs driving schools. They take a little bit more time with them behind the wheel than they would. I mean, obviously they have to go through their online courses first, but these are opportunities for your kids to really show great independence. And for high functioning children, that's really what they want. They want to be able to do everything their friends are doing, their neurotypical peers are doing, and they want to be able to succeed. And we want to make sure as parents we give them all the tools to do just that. The one last thing that I'm going to leave you with as we do head back to school, and I know I mentioned this earlier, I'm going to mention it again. I want you to just breathe. Take some time. It's not always easy. I find myself sometimes crying, kind of like I want to do right now. But we have to equip ourselves and our children to give them the best opportunities there are. And whatever that looks like for you, I recommend that you go back through my previous shows and look for the educators that I've already had on, the advocates that I've already had on, and rewatch those shows. I guarantee you, every time you do rewatch one, and every time I rewatch one, I learned something again. I'm like, oh, I missed that. It's like watching a movie. You got to watch it 2 or 3 times and you're like, oh, that happened? I forgot. Anyway, so as we live life with the spectrum, thank you for taking this opportunity to come in and check in with me. As school starts rolling, we'll have other people on to discuss their journeys, as well as other professionals that discuss what they can do, whether it's speech and language, OT, all of these things that will get our kids the help that they need, and they deserve too, to be as productive as they can as adults. So thank you so much. Like, comment, share. Remember to share it, to ask questions. No question is too big, too small. I'll find the answer if I don't know it, and we'll again continue this journey together, living life on the spectrum. Till next time, see ya.